Okay. And then, let's see here. Put this here and here. And then we got 10 things of those. Okay. Turn that on. Okay. Drop rate 230. So I need a 100. Yeah. All right. Works for me. Oh yeah, guild quests. Oh shit, I need 3 people online. Fuck. Oh shit, I need to grab the combat life quest, the combat EXP for the energy. I just realized my energy wasn't down. That's annoying. You can actually grind here if you run all of the if you run all of your the full elixir and buff rotation I was telling you about. You'll need at least a Perfume of Courage and a Adanya elixir, and as long as you've upgraded your crystals, you can grind here. You'll need to work on getting the Adanya crystal, sure, but that'll be a chunk of that damage, but I mean, you technically have the AP to grind here. Aetherion Castle and Adanya. You'll need dog patience here for your resist, so you'll need to be maxed out on stun, stiffness, freezing. So the AP hard cap here is 1590 or 1595. It's one of the two. And you were at like 1550. So I mean, you're in well within the range of being able to actually kill shit here. So the core thing you're gonna want to keep an eye out on is, I'll see if I can show it when it pops up. There's one attack where it creates like two portals, is the one attack you're gonna want to stay out of, because that is one of the stun, stiffness, and freezing attacks that they do. You'll always want to do that blue circle when they pop up. Let's see, you should see that attack here in just a second with all of them around. The lightning is also a stun when it drops. I haven't seen that attack, actually. Probably killed them all. Yeah, I don't see them doing it. Oh, there it is. That portal right there. That's a stun. So basically, you just kill the small waves. They're not that threatening. This is pretty much the chill part. Then when you see this message pop up about a faint presence of unstable spirit energy nearby, you need to come stand at the back end of the sphere on the ground and kill them inside it, and it'll spawn a additional mob wave. So right there, you'll get that message, and that means they have spawned. And now this is where you need to not get caught up in it, because they will overrun you. And you can get stunned in this, because you're going to be at 95% resist. But as long as you rotate your super armors, you shouldn't get stunned. It's just you getting caught in between a super armor change. And you do this rinse and repeat until the boss spawns, which then the boss will be a mechanic. You'll have to go run around in the ball. And then the boss will spawn afterward. So there is the roots gather Azure energy, or Azure reach energies, and now you're gonna do the ball thing, which is just run around and just carpet bomb them with this. So this is like basically free damage, free loot, kind of like a semi-AFK phase, and just kind of run it around, keeping them as damaged as possible. Then you're going to come out of it, and now it's boss time. And now you're going to lose 50% of your AP on the boss. Which is fine. So you don't one-shot him. You would want to run... so the buffs you'll want to run is Simple Cron Meal. You'll want to run the Draught and the Perfume. For you, you'll need a furniture buff, so you'll need at least the scroll that's down there in the bottom for the AP scroll. So at least the plus 15 AP scroll of Mythic, you'll want that. You'll want to have both tent, the tent buff and the church buffs. Horse buff will give you another 5 AP. And then make sure you have your add-ons set up. Your crystals equipped. For you specifically, the Amplified Adanya set. Which will need the Iridescent and 3 Twisteds to make. The Twisteds will be cheap. The Amplified is where you'll need to spend a little bit of money to make them, but it'll be cheaper than buying 3 Amplifieds. Now for me, I'm overcapped, so I'm using Vicious Shadows here. Like, I am very overcapped. But you're going to be after those wand crystals of ruins. You'll need to collect 100 of them, and then you will convert those into a wand crystal of Adanya. The issue is you're probably not going to have the gas to go do Nymphomere to go get the bond crystal. Quite yet. So you can't probably leapfrog this. I don't think so, at least. I think it'll take you... You'll need to get a few more upgrades before you can go to Nymphomere to go grab that crystal. What's up below there?
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh. Yeah, about that. Oh. Poor computer.
What's up with your computer?
I haven't hit the power button in ages and it felt stiff.
Ooh, shit.
The kid is only 7 years old, but damn.
You think this spot is better than Orbita, or once you can grind Orbita, that's next? So you have to go through a progress of going through them. The only reason I'm not at Orbita is because I'm gonna skip over Orbita in one full step. So I'm gonna buy all my Pen Devos, and then I'm gonna go straight from Orbita to Tenebrum. I'm only going to go to Orbita. I'm only going to Orbita long enough to loot the Gen Crystal, and then I'll be going to loot the Han Crystal, and then after the Han, I'm just gonna keep a backup of one and then sell the rest. But as far as money for entry, this is actually the same as Nymphomere, so most people can skip Nymphomere and just grind this as more brain dead money per hour.
And Aetherion is a little bit better for the amounts of mobs that you're killing.
So if you're trying to burn Agris, this is definitely a little bit easier. Like, you can burn a decent chunk of Agris. They're about the same in total mob turnover. But because this one is a little bit easier to pull slightly more mobs, you can get a little bit more Agris burned here. So, for me, it's once I get all 5 of my, well, all 4 more of the Nav accessories, I'll completely blow past this place.
Yes. Absolutely. You'd be wondering why.
Because I'm already at 1624 is my total AP without the Z buff. And I've already got 2 deck accessories. Just one's not on me. And I'm waiting for I'm waiting to get just the other all the other knobs bought and tapped in case for whatever reason I get any more decks.
Trying to go big deck and energy.
Yeah, I got that big deck energy, so just going to potentially, like I said, just skip over Orbita, that whole Orbita grind. Not that Orbita's bad, Orbita's good money, but that is the AP jump that I'm doing.
Right, it's worth it.
No, it's just about getting within roughly 50 AP, 50 total AP of the grind spot. Yeah, it's not about having accessories, it's just where do you sit in the total AP spectrum.
Right.
So I'm only doing that just because that's where I will be at. So with where my weapons are at, it'll put me at Tenebrum at full Nav.
Absolutely.
I could probably do, what's the next one? What is it? Zephyros is the next one after Tenebrum?
Yeah, Zephyros.
Zephyros would probably be, I'd probably be like 158 total AP away, so, or probably 100.
Yeah, total AP is 100 away from Tenebrum. Zephyros and Tenebrum are 100 total AP away.
Okay.
From each other. Even though it's only 5 AP.
Well, that's to hard cap though. That's the difference. That's to absolute. You can't do any more damage. That's the other thing we gotta consider too.
I mean, 1990. It says on the thing on the map. That's what it thinks you should have going in there. I don't know about the cap. I don't know what the cap is there. I don't see how it could have one.
It does
can't
though.
Go higher than
they're all higher.
like 2,000.
I think it's up there near 2,000, but I don't think it's 2,000. I have to look.
Yeah, because it starts off at like 1990.
But some secret sauce is Turos. If you actually count the Turo hearts as 50 mil a Turo heart, which is their actual real value, not the 15 mil that's per that they sell for on the market, but they're worth 50 mil. If you count the Turo hearts, Dekia Turos is the same as doing like Aetherion and Nymphomere, if not slightly better. But that means you have to make the corrupted oils, and it also means you have to sell and be doing at least the or at least the human immortal elixirs. So that's...
Harmony dress.
Yep. I mean, it's called Just Don't Get Hit.
Yeah. Yep.
Just don't get hit.
Don't let him touch you.
Or be an absolute ninja with your super armors and forward guards. Good luck still, because they're gonna blow through that frontal guard pretty damn quick.
In that Orbita? I feel like it's gonna be a change of scenery for you whenever you do get there.
Should be able to start guild quests now, though.
I popped one. As soon as I saw your name pop up, I hit it.
Yeah, I killed like a couple hundred things last night. Couldn't loot a single one.
Yeah, I saw that I only had, I'd only fished maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't long. It wasn't long.
Because I still had 9 hours. I still had 9 hours on my buff.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, well, apparently it's EU. It affected EU first.
Yep, I saw that they had it. I saw their thing, and I was like, damn, they're getting fucked. And then I woke up and I saw that we had it.
But it was already on our side. Just people weren't necessarily... It seemed like NA, or not NA. Prolobis did not fix our side until late. Like half an hour to an hour almost later. My aunt, she was trying to skin the same fucking thing for like almost 40 minutes.
Damn.
She's like, it's not despawning, it's not letting me tan it, and it's not letting me walk the fuck out. I was like,
So you're trapped in a death game now. Got it.
I was like,
die in the game.
SAO game now, huh?
You die in the game, you die in real life.
Well, it is as simple as alt tab and
Force
right
close.
click the taskbar and bring up the taskbar manager.
Actually,
and
you
right
should,
click it and fuck the task.
you should just be able to hit Control Alt Escape, and it does. It brings up that window.
Never have I ever known that was a thing.
Yep.
I just
Press Control
Do it the
Alt
hard
Escape.
way.
This isn't the Alt F4 meme. This is hit Control Alt Escape, and it'll bring that window up.
taskbar. Yeah, you want that taskbar. This taskbar, the task manager is the most important thing that you can get data from and be able to end things from. Task manager is definitely a friend. But yeah, that's what I had to tell her to do. She was like, oh, it's that easy? I was like, yeah. If you get stuck in a game, that's the easiest way to get out of it. I don't
Alt
suggest...
F4 should do that on most games.
But I have had situations where, like in this one, BDO, where Alt F4 does work, but every now and then, you'll get a situation where that does not fucking compute at all. Like last night, does not work.
Yeah, that's where the Force Close task comes in.
Yeah, you gotta force it. You gotta find that actual program or application running, and then just end your tree, or just that task. I don't suggest people who have no computer experience to do that.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't ever delete System 32, and don't fuck with anything that's in the Windows, in the Systems tab. Only do in programs tab. You fuck with your system, you can brick your computer. Can. Doesn't mean you always will, but you can brick your computer.
You will just temporarily brick it when you end the task in the taskbar manager or the task manager. Sometimes, not all the time, it'll brick it. It'll brick it to the point where it won't even recover. I've only had that once happen to me my whole life, so I don't know. It's very rare. I was really young when I fucked that up. Gotta get me a new hard drive and everything.
I've never really bricked a computer with doing stuff. I also lived on Mac for fucking 15 years, so.
Yeah, Mac is a little bit wheelchair.
I mean, this was back before, this was like during the G4, G5 era.
Mm-hmm. Yep, during the colorful era.
Yep.
I remember having one of those bulbous looking Macs with a colored
Yep.
back thingy.
I used the hell out of mine. Till the day it died.
I used mine for school or something. I gave it to my cousin because he needed a computer. And he never left Mac after that.
I've had it was the turquoise blue iMac, and then I had a two different generation Mac Pros that were fully loaded. Those things fucking sucked to have to buy. You're just like, you cringe as soon as you hit that buy button. You're like, oh god, that hurts. But tax write-off, motherfuckers.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Alright, where's my damn dog at?
Who let the dogs out?
Oh. He's a smart little asshole. He finds a way to get out. Because something that he wants is always outside of the fence.
Of course.
That's his little white butt.
Alright, 9 minutes on the first hour.
Here.
Left, let's...
Yeah.
Throw me!
I've been standing outside this whole time, dog. Where are you? In the house?
But at least we got 1,000 crons for the compensation, so that's cool.
You did?
Yep. It's in your mail. You get 1,000 crons, 5 scrolls, loot scrolls, Lara's teas, and it was like 4 or 5 items. But the 1,000 crons, I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. Here's 3 bill.
found a dog.
You found a dog.
Little asshole. Look all around, and somehow the motherfucker got in the back garage. What door partially closed on him?
Damn.
Son? How did you manage that, dog?
Doing dog things.
Funny. So little mad at you. Are you ready to go back outside? No? Didn't think so. Asshole.
Alright, where are you? Right beside me. That's a first. Go ahead and do horse buff now.
Yeah, so apparently my water pump is dying or trying to die in my house.
Ooh, shit.
Yes, that's a little bit.
Because weren't you trying to deal with that the other day?
Yep.
Damn.
Got it fixed. Got the fucking water running again. Nope. Pump is acting like it's fucking dying.
Brand new pump?
No, like 5, 6 years old. But the last problem, it blew out a pipe or something happened. It blew out a seal or something, and it just sprayed fucking water everywhere in the fucking basement.
Shit.
Like everything was hit, except for my little brother's computer area.
Shit.
Which I would have been somewhat furious about. I spent in parts alone. I spent like 26 or 2,500, maybe 2,400, depending on taxes.
Right.
But at the time, AM5 was just releasing, but they were having issues with AM5 on the 7000 series stuff at first, so I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna build them in AM4.
Okay.
Bought the best of the best of the best of the best of the best. And his computer just goes. Got him a fancy ROG Strix motherboard. One step below my motherboard.
You know, for the longest time, I swore off ROG boards. So,
They're good boards.
they were terrible when I had them. So, there's a few people...
10 years ago.
Yeah, it's about what it was. So I had a 2016 ROG board. And there's a few around that will still remember the issues I had. So there was one thing that I had where it was there was a run of USB controller chips that were made by a specific manufacturer, and this got them in it. and it caused your computer to connect and disconnect a USB. You'd hear it do-do-do, 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 do-do-do. And Stream would hear that disconnect and reconnect. And eventually we turned it off. You know, turned the sound off so you couldn't hear it. But I ended up pulling up a reader that would read the log, all system logs. And I had it up on stream one day, and it disconnected and reconnected over 1,000 times each during the one stream. And it eventually
on a rod board.
Yep. And I eventually got Origin to do a full motherboard swap. Within a year, it was doing it again.
Wow.
And it was out of warranty at that point. Because I only had the 3-year warranty with Origin.
So it was about like
2016, and by 2019, it was completely out of their warranty. Because I was able to get any of the stuff fully repaired for free, if anything happened. And then it was summer 2020. My water cooler broke and sprayed all inside my computer. So I had to buy a new computer during COVID. Imagine how that fucking went.
I bought mine. That's when I built mine. It was technically in 2020.
It was right when the 30 series came out, right before it, because I bought a.
Yep.
We got both me and Narama did the step up program with EVGA, where we both bought the 2080 Super, I believe is what it was, from Newegg, just in time that it counted for the step up program. So we were able to go straight to the 3080 and the price difference.
I have the last EVGA card made. Just the 3070 or any other 30 series is their last card made.
I've got the computer still is right next to this one that's got the 3080 in it. But, I mean, now I'm on a 5090 from MSI, so.
Well, for future reference, your EVGA card is probably going to be worth a lot more down the road than the rest of them, even if it's weaker.
Yeah.
Because EVGA was like one of the best.
Yep. And they said they got tired of dealing with NVIDIA's shit, and that's why they just said, you know what, we're just gonna not bother with it anymore.
Oh, EVGA used to make some of the best motherboards too. I haven't seen an EVGA motherboard in a long time.
Yeah.
For that FX series, I had an EVGA top secret board. Because you had an FX series AMD, I'm assuming, in 2016?
My motherboard was... it was the 2 ROGs.
Yeah. No, what I mean was, like, do you remember the CPU series? Like, if it was AM4 yet, or was it FX series?
It was a Ryzen 7 5700? Or 3700? Something like that. I know it was a Ryzen 7. Or wait, no, hold on. No, hold on.
Ryzen would not have been out.
Then it was probably a i9 or an so one of those. I think it might have been an Intel setup. Is what I was running then. In 2016, I'd have to go look. I'm pretty sure I converted over to AMD when I bought it. When I bought it during COVID, I went to an AMD. But I'm pretty sure I was on, I think at that point that I was on a Intel system.
That would make more sense why your issue was happening. Because Intel during them times was having real fun.
Had nothing to do with the CPU. It was strictly a USB controller switch in the motherboard, was what it was.
Right, but the CPU also controls that memory controller.
No, this is actually, it was installed on both boards. It was the physical chip itself was bad. So they basically produced, and it went into both, and it had nothing to do with the processor. It was just the controller switch.
Right, but technically, your CPU is the one that controls that memory controller as well, even though they're not. Even though the memory controller is not on the CPU.
Correct.
If that makes any sense.
Like, we found it on the motherboard. We ended up finding where the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Annoying little shit. Annoying little shit to find.
Later on, after that series, it went to being controlled by the actual RAM. If that makes any sense. So by like 2020, when you built that newer computer, the RAM had actual memory controllers on them instead of being, it had to talk to the CPU, then the board, then back to the CPU. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So even though, yes, it wasn't but Intel actually had that issue back then. It was one of Intel's many different issues other than overheating. Like setting a nuclear furnace in your computer. That's why a lot of people moved to AMD as well.
Well, the pitch from Narama at the time was, it's just a better and faster processor for what I was trying to do. So...
Oh yeah. Unfortunately.
Like, when he showed me a side-by-side of the current AMD versus the
Current Intel.
The Intel at the same price point, he's like, for everything you do, that would be so much better for you. And I was like, okay.
He was not wrong at that time. Was not wrong. And still is wrong to this day. Intel's been trying to catch up to AMD, but yeah, we're just gonna say it's still not going good for them. Which just sucks. It really does, because Intel used to make their own chips. They used to have their own fabs. They used to basically control the computing world. But then Zen 1 came out, which was Ryzen 1. When the Ryzen series came out, that's when AMD started taking back its control. It used to have market share, or majority market share back in like the 1990s.
Yep, most every computer I saw had an Intel Pentium processor in it.
Well, I also used to know a lot of computers that had the Aetherion series AMDs. A lot of school computers had Aetherions in them as well.
That was probably a government contract or some sort of...
Correct. Dell computers back then used to come with Aetherions. So like
my Dell XPS was that I bought in like 2000.
XPS
had a Intel. Had a Intel. It was some dual processor motherboard I had.
Yep, that sounds about right. Because I'll say this again. Back then, XPS would have been using the better CPU, which would have been the Intel.
Mm-hmm. So remember that one, I think, was 2 quad-core processors and like 16 or 32 gigs of RAM, I think is what was in that. Because it was astronomical at the time, whatever it was.
In that age, I'm trying to think. I think a gig would have been a lot. So if it's early 2000s, yeah,
Mid 2000s. No, it would have been mid 2000s. It would have been about the time I was getting out of high school.
Yeah, I would still say
because that was one of my early recording computers. So that thing was fast. Had to be fast as fuck.
A dual CPU, yes, all day.
Yep. That was before I had the Pro Tools HD rigs, which is when I got into the Apple. Because then that made it even faster, and like there is like it's 0.00 something latency. Like you cannot tell. It's so fast. But that card alone is $7,000 to $10,000, so it should be.
What card was it?
The Pro Tools HD XL card. Basically, it allowed you to record near zero latency. So whatever sound was being played off the computer was exactly what was being recorded at the moment. Like if you used a traditional like Sound Blaster's card, like audio card or anything like that, or even some of the cheaper sound cards, there was still almost a like half a millisecond delay.
Unless you had the really expensive Creative Labs sound card or Sound Blaster.
No, it was an issue with so the issue came in with the CPU at that point. So the way it ended up working is because I ended up one of the earlier sound cards I had was a M Audio sound card that had multiple different interfaces, so I could bring in like a stereo XLR, stereo.
It had the phono jack in it, didn't it?
Not this one. This had 2 1/4-inch cables, and I believe it had and 1 or 2 MIDI channels. I think were on this one.
Yeah, that sounds like one of the nicer sound cards. Like
I mean, it was actually it was bought through Sweetwater, so
that makes sense. Yeah, my sound card that I had was that Creative Labs one. Mm-hmm. It had the interface for me plugging in a guitar. And I used to use that for DJing back in the day, like late 90s, early 2000s. And that card had 0 latency. It was also a $500 to $1,000 card at the time, somewhere in there. Wasn't a cheap card. We bought it because we had basically had not a dance studio, but a club, mm-hmm. or something like that.
Yeah.
We had a underground club that was basically running only at night and only on the weekends, mm-hmm. and it was technically illegal.
Yep, sounds about right.
So we were that particular sound card did so good. Like it enhanced the bass. It did a lot more things than the old CDJs used to do. It was just awesome. I mean, you could hear that motherfucker. We had so many speakers in that fucking damn dojo, in that building, in the second-story building, that you could hear the sound to the police station, which was about 2 miles away from the fucking place.
Sounds about right.
It's hilarious. Cops would show up every night.
So you turn the damn thing down.
Yeah, and then after they leave, we just started right back in. Yeah, we were using one of those Creative Sound Labs, and we used this other program that they paid like a lot of money for back in the day, like some kind of music program, like Orbita or it was some old program that was really awesome.
So, let me think, because there was Pro Tools, Stein Labs, Cakewalk, Ableton Live, Fruity Loops, and that would have been it.
Well, there was a couple more, but this one that we were using, if I can remember who made it. I know it starts with an O. I can't remember the full name of it because it's been so long since we used it. But it was used quite a bit. Like, for instance, the Matrix used the same program for making music.
Most of that was scored on Pro Tools.
Well, may have been that. I don't know. All I know is that the program was fucking expensive.
Pro Tools
And
and Stein Labs were the two most expensive programs during that era. Stein Labs was about for the Stein Labs PC recording software, that was around $1,000 for it. Pro Tools HD would have been or Pro Tools 7. I don't know. HD would have been a little after that. No, it would have been Pro Tools HD 7. Yeah, no. So the Pro Tools HD would have been in the software itself would have been about $1,000, but you'd had to buy the combo because you had to have the card for it. So it would have been about $5,000 for that. As far as like actual recording software, this was probably a DJ software, which is different. I'm trying to think, because it wasn't Cakewalk Home Studio or Cakewalk Sonar, the Sonar was the pro version, Home Studio was the cheaper watered down version for weaker computers. You had Ableton Live, which came with basically a onboard like DAW system. You weren't using Logic because you weren't on PC. Let's see here. You didn't have Digital Performer, which would have been a scoring software at the time. Let's see. Fruity Loops was in its early stages, so that would have been a lower version. There would have only been like Fruity Loops 1 or 2 by that point.
I'm trying to remember. My dad doesn't even remember the damn name of the program. He's the one who bought it.
It would have been Pro Tools and Pro Tools HD were the two steps of that. But you had to have the proprietary interfaces regardless. But the software determined which one you had to get.
It was used majority for making trance music. Like, it had the most complex music making program out of all those other programs out there. That's why we spent. My dad said it was like $1,000 or $1,200 for the damn program. As in, it was the best program back then. Like, people were like absolutely raving about it.
Go to Grok on your phone real quick and search this. And search, do you know the year range that you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So ask Grok,
Oh, yeah.
what was the top 5 trance-making programs back during X range to X range? And let's see what it ends up saying.
Because I'll remember the program the second I see it.
Because it sounds like either you're dealing with some sort of MIDI instrument set that I'm not quite...
It was.
Okay. You said
You
it
had
starts...
that- It allowed you to use the CDJ, like a normal CDJ, but if you didn't have the CDJ, you could use a keyboard to do the same things.
Okay.
But it allowed for a lot more other things than that. You can like mix a few songs up at the same time. It allowed for a lot of adjustment. I'll just say that. Hold on. Let me see. Music programs from 1998 to, let's just say 2000. Using trance flash dance. Oh, I have to sign up for Grok.
You don't, you just have to log into a X account. That's all it's asking is you just need to log into an X account.
I don't know, so. I know I know that what our club was called. It was called Orbitron. But I thought it was that was the name of the program. No. Yeah, I remember State of Trance. I'm looking for radios.
I mean, I might somewhere still have a catalog from mid-2000s from Sweetwater. I might. I just wouldn't know where it would be at the moment.
Well, we used to have about 1,000 people coming in and out every weekend.
That's pretty cool.
We were charging like $5 a person,
It's not bad.
and we did have a whole wall. When I mean a wall of sound, we had a fucking wall of sound.
Well, I can imagine. I ran sound for several bands from 2006 to 2009 until my back finally said, okay, enough of lifting 400-pound power amps.
Yeah, that was you. Yeah.
So I ended up doing more drum teching at that point for my friend
Rebirth.
instead. Huh?
That's what it fucking was. Rebirth.
Rebirth.
Rebirth was it. Or Propeller Head. Rebirth was what we used. It was very fucking expensive.
Check and see if they're the ones who made Reason. I believe they made a program called Reason, which was a
yeah, Propeller Head Reason
yep.
was released in 2000.
Yep.
Because, like I said, Rebirth was fucking huge. Yeah, that's basically stating like it was the biggest one, which I knew it was that because it was fucking expensive.
Yeah, so that
Like my dad said, it's
so
not cheap.
that's why I couldn't peg it, is because that's technically not a recording software. That's a MIDI program, and that's
Yeah.
what was throwing me off. Is
But it can't record.
yes,
That's
but it's
correct.
designed. Its true function was to actually be put into another program and used from there. Yes, it had standalone, but its core function was to be used inside of something like Pro Tools, Logic, Sonar, Steinway. It was designed to be used inside of that, but they did have their own standalone.
Well, how we had it was the CDJ or the DJ that we usually have there. His DJ equipment would be let's just say 100 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's easily was the length or the distance to where the actual sound was coming from. Like we had 8-foot tall speakers,
Yep.
a lot of them. We had, I think it was like 12 of them motherfuckers. And then we had a whole bunch of the 4-foot high ones, like in the corners, up in the rafters area of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ran a long ass cord from the CDJ to the computer, and that ran with Reaper.
Okay.
And so you would be able to have that underlying track playing while the DJ was just doing his thing.
Yeah.
And we had like a system where basically I would be half the time I was the one operating that fucking program. And then every now and then when the DJ took a break, I would basically just play random notes and random shit. And random buttons and turning tempos and things down and up just to get people to go. It was a good time.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember that program very well. Yeah, that was the program though, Rebirth.
Okay. Propeller heads. Yep, I'm very familiar with them. I owned Reason for many years until I stopped using their engine and started using Native Instruments, East West, and Omnisphere. Kind of took over all of that stuff for me. At one point, I had a half a terabyte of just virtual instruments, and it got to the point I was like, I gotta search this entire fucking hard drive for what I'm looking for. This is annoying. And so I started cutting back over the years, and I basically ended up with, I had a few specialty programs. So one of my absolute best, pianos came from East West, and there were many piano players who could not pick up that was not a real Steinway. And because I had one guy come in one day and he's looking around and he said, "So where's the Steinway at?" you know, your piano is, that piano sounds amazing. I'm like, it's over there. He's like, where? The room's not big enough for it. I'm like, it's the MIDI keyboard. He's like, no. I'm like, yeah, that's what you were listening to. I said it's also a Bosendorfer and a Yamaha C7. Said, pick which one you want. And then I ended up getting a hold of the Abbey Road C7, so I have that one. So you can get the, it sounds just like the one from that did the Adele Skyfall piano. I've got a whole thing that does all the old vintage keys out there, so I can do the Rhodes, I can do the Wurlitzer. I've got the C3 and C4 organs, so you can get that true Creedence Clearwater sound off of them.
Yeah.
I've got the really rare one I've got is the I think it's called the OP84 is what it's named in the program, but it's the synthesizer that Van Halen used to do Jump, and it sounds just fucking like it when you dial it in right. But the secret sauce is it doesn't sound right until you run it through an amp modulation. You have to make it actually, to get the Jump sound, it has to be run through a speaker cab.
Yeah, because that's how it was played.
Yep. A lot of people skip that one step, and they put it through they use that synth trying to get it, but you've got to get the cab sound on it. So if you can get that, then it sounds correct. And
well, you know that's the problem with most people, is that they're not actually musically inclined, so they don't really contemplate that kind of stuff.
Yep. So that's how I got it created, and it sounds just like it. And then it had, I'm trying to think of what it's called. You hear it a lot in, like, the Carpenters. You hear it a lot in, it was used a lot in the 70s. I'm trying to think. It was a specific, electric keyboard that was used. So it sounds like that. Then I've got for orchestral, I've got a couple of the Vienna Symphonic Orchestra. I could never justify spending the $15,000 for the full set of their orchestral set. Because you end up... So here's kind of where I kind of got stuck with it. So, what's the number one thing that you end up hearing the most? It's the cellos. That's if you're gonna be doing something, you're gonna be using cellos. So,
Definitely for the big band experience.
when it comes to like that's the one you needed like really high quality, because it was easier to get a violinist to come in and play than it was to get a cello to come in and play, because a lot of the time what people would want is they would want the cello backing, you know, that droning kind of cello sound. So it's way easier to do that on a keyboard, and you can't tell once it's done right, especially with the Vienna stuff. You can't tell. Because I have real cello, I've put real cello next to the MIDI cello and layered it, and people can't tell which one's which. There is, until you hear the slight bow buckles, but underneath 18... once you start, but see, I can fuck with that in in the MIDI controller, so I can get some of the specific bow jerks to happen. So you can. Well, no, not the staccato. It's the there is a controller to make it so that you can switch the direction of the bow. So you can force it to change. So it's not when you press it down, it's just gonna hold the note until the sample drones out. But there's a control switch on the keyboard where you can actually click it as you hit the note, and it'll push the bow back into a different direction. So it'll sound like it's being actually bowed. As long as you keep activating that controller, it'll sound like you're droning the note on the bow, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Then you get, so then I would mostly use Native Instruments and their symphonic orchestra set. Because at that point, it was a good enough backing orchestral sound that for the average non-film score setup, it was good enough. The brass sounded good, the strings sounded good, it did its job. Then, moving away into more of the electronic sounds, that's where Omnisphere came in. Omnisphere was kind of like the go-to for all the weird shit. That's a lot, like, Omnisphere is what Dream Theater ends up using. For all of their, like, synth stuff is Omnisphere. I mean, he uses a whole bunch of shit, but that's the core of his kit is Omnisphere.
Staccato and legato.
Yes.
Yeah, so
staccato is the
key defining sounds from violin or the string instruments.
Yes. But then I ended up discovering East-West. And their string sections ended up being slightly less taxing and just nearly as good. So I ended up using a lot of the East-West strings. But their brass section was a little bit underwhelming.
Be desired.
Especially when you're like, okay, you're like looking at Vienna Symphonic Orchestra and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you know, when you compare it next to that, it's really good, but it's like, East-West is like your starter. That's where I would kind of go with that. I used to have Reason, but I stopped using Reason. It just wasn't justifiable to keep paying $600 to get the newest, latest, greatest version when we're never fucking using it. And then, ended up with, let's see here. There was one other big bundle I ended up getting. I have some Celtic, fucking instruments. I mean, I can get all sorts of, like, Viking-like instruments, Irish, Scottish, shit from that. That's pretty cool. I had a choir program for a while, but that I never could get it to do, like, and same with a couple of the guys that came in, we could never get it to sound like their demos. Like, it was cool if you just wanted to put, like, that typical choir, or just, like, oh or ah backing behind something and ramp it in real quick. But as far as, like, the, like, actual, like, articulated vocals, we could not get it to do the choir. We tried the choir writing program to where it would do the different vowel sounds. It never would fucking work. But that was super, super rare. Because a lot of people ended up just using, they wanted the humming one, where it would hum, or a slight ooh, a slight ah. And that sounded good enough to where you couldn't tell. And it was nice to use when we were wanting to be lazy and not actually have them do that. I never used, of course, I had, for drums, my #1 drums were, Steven Slate drums. If it was gonna be, drum machines, it came off, Steven Slate. Even though I had BFD, Steven's samples were fucking a mile above everybody else's. Like, if you wanted to kick-ass drum sounds, it came off of Steven Slate.
Speaking of drums, not too long ago, I was almost going to buy me either the drum kit or new guitar when I went to Guitar Center because they had one of the electric drum kits.
If you're gonna get one, the only ones to
And it
get
had, like,
are the only one you get is the Roland, set.
Yeah, it was a Roland. I was getting there.
Is it does it have the mesh pads or the rubber
remember.
pads?
Mesh.
Okay, yeah, that's the one to get.
It was looking really good. It sounded great. I was so shook because I was like, I can just play this with headphones on.
Yep. And then you found out that it was worth about $5,000. You're like, ah, fuck me.
They had actually 3 different versions of that one there, and the
So-
one I was looking at, I could afford.
There were 3 or 4 different models that we sold at Guitar Center when I worked there. And 2 of them came based on the amount of pieces, and the other 2 were based off of the brains. The cheapest one we had was about 18 something. It had a single, because it had a single pedal. The brain was okay. It wasn't the best brain they had. But it depends on the sounds of drums you were after. It kind of didn't need it. But the pieces is what mattered to me, I think, more than the brain. I can always upgrade the brain later. Because as long as it was a MIDI drum set, I could get any drum sound I wanted in the world.
Right.
But, you know, for me personally, I've got a... I've probably got $25,000 in drums at this point. From
I was looking at
all the shit I have.
Oh. Well, I almost bought it.
The Roland drum set, though, they're great. The issue that you'll have is you can't play it like a normal drum set.
Yeah, it didn't. I had to like play with it for a hot second to like get it to be like, oh, this sounds normal.
Well, no. What I mean is like the technique that you would use to play a real drum set is not the technique that plays a electronic drum set, and that's a little deceiving.
No, it didn't feel right. No. So I was like, because I played real drums, and then when I sat on that, I was like, okay. And then as I was hitting it, I was like, okay, so I have to hit it a certain way.
So the big one that is are you familiar with whip swinging?
No.
Okay.
I'm
So
a guitarist, not a drummer. I've just played drums.
okay, so I want you to think of this. Crack a whip in your hand.
Yep.
Okay? So that motion you're using when you kind of snap at the thing, it's actually supposed to be a very tight ellipsis. You don't actually strike straight down on a cymbal. You actually kind of whip at it, and it's a slight circular whip when you go to properly strike a cymbal.
I've seen that motion.
Yes.
I've seen that motion.
It's not hard to do, and it's not hard. It doesn't take long to learn to do that. But what that does is that snap is what creates the circular motion that gets the stick in and out of those metal cymbals instantly. Okay. Striking straight down onto a cymbal is how you crack cymbals. That's cymbal cracking 101. Cymbals are made to last a long time. And you can tell a gorilla from a properly trained person. You know, if somebody comes in and just starts like brute forcing straight down on cymbals, you know it's going to be cracked, dented, and cut within a week. Because they can only take so much abuse before it's finally just giving up.
Right. Are they like made majority from brass?
Well, it's all the metals have a slight different composition of like exactly how much is used in it.
Right.
But yeah, for the most part, yes.
For the most part, majority brass, which means brass is not technically the strongest metal at all.
But it's the way they groove it, the way they hammer it, the thickness of it. And technically, you don't buy cymbals based on their. You don't buy based on what the thickness. The thickness is going to basically just be how metallic-y it sounds.
Yeah.
You go in and you listen for the true sound of the cymbal, and no two cymbals sound the same because the metal, like you can see one that came off the same forge, but just because of the metal property that when it was poured is slightly different than the one prior. They're close, they're really hard to tell apart. But they do have different sounds, and you can actually hear, so I have 4 18-inch cymbals, and you would think they would all have the same similar timbre. No. Each one, we actually ended up using 3 18s across my drum set, and each 18, because normally it's the highest to lowest sound. And so we actually ended up setting them up, and somebody's like, oh, so you got like a 16, 17, and an 18. When they heard the drum recording, I'm like, no, those are 3 18s. He's like, shut up. He's like, how does that 18 sound so high? I'm like, well, that Sabian cymbal just happens to be a higher pitch, and but it's a deeper, higher pitch than what you're used to. I said my actual 16 and 17 are actually in the middle of the drum kit. We just never use them. I have 3 18s that go around the outside, and the 16 and 17 were in the middle. And I'm like, those are just fun, like, little... And I'm like, it's significantly higher. It's just, it's a higher-pitched 18. And then the density of it's going to determine how...
My favorite sounds are the flashes. I like the flashes.
Those are nice.
I like the flash sounds.
So, when I would, like, help people with buying cymbals at Guitar Center, the first thing that I would always tell them to do is, I'm like, okay, find the, you know, do you have a general idea of what you're wanting? Are you wanting a bright cymbal? Are you wanting a dark cymbal? Because, like, you'd get guys coming in saying, I want a 20-inch Zildjian A custom, I'm like, or a 19-inch A custom, I'm like, do you know what an A custom actually sounds like? And they're like,
heck, they have a wall of fucking damn cymbals at guitar centers.
And
like
they're like,
room.
Yep, there's usually a cymbal room, and then the drum room itself is, depending on the Guitar Center, is. So I worked at the biggest one in Georgia for a while, and so they'd come in and they'd say, you know, I want like an 18-inch or a 19-inch A custom, and I'm like, okay, what are you playing? I'm playing in a, you know, we're playing in a, I play drums in a gospel church. Like, you don't want an A custom. At all. I'm like, that cymbal is so shrill and so, I'm like, how thick are your guitars? Do you play with guitars at all? Like, you know, like heavier electric guitars at all in there? No, you don't want an A custom. He's like, but, you know, A customs are like the best cymbals. I'm like, no. I said, you've been market lied to, and congratulations, about to educate you. And I take him over to, you know, I just blindly go hit some. And I'm like, what is this? He couldn't pick it up. And ended up, I could normally sell people on the darker cymbals. That's where they ended up getting into it. I'm like, okay, here's a K. I'm like, here's a K custom. It's a much darker cymbal. Or here's a Sabian Dark. Much more what you're after. I'm
I
like,
remember Sabian.
huh?
I remember that. I remember that brand when I walked in
Sabian
there.
and Zildjian are the two
mine-
biggest brands.
Yeah, Zildjian. I know Zildjian. My uncle, when he had a friend that played drums, You had the Zildjians and the Sabians. So I always remember the Zildjian because the Zildjian is just that brand name is just so iconic.
Yep.
Like you just see the brand name and you just think.
This is
drums.
yeah. Turkish
You don't know
company.
Zildjian.
Turkish company. It's great. I mean, they're fucking fantastic symbols.
Yeah. They're the best in the world.
So going back to the technique and the drums. So when you hit those cymbals, you know, obviously the lighter the thinner the cymbal, the more refined your technique needs to be. And 99% of your power is in your wrist. It's not your forearm.
Right.
And I proved that with one of my friends who is a phenomenal drummer. And because somebody was like, dude, you need to stop having him gorilla the drums. I'm like, he ain't swinging that hard. I'm like, watch his arm when he lifts it up. And I held a stick beside his arc of his arm. I said, he's not going to lift it above this. And he's like, how does he get it to snap? I'm like, that's all in his wrist. I'm like, his wrist snap is so strong when he pops down on it. I'm like, that snare is not being hit by... it's not him forearm. It's not him going in like a gorilla and swinging on it. That is literally just his wrist. I said, also, go look at the strike point on his drum. I said, it's not hitting where you think it's hitting. I said, you can go look, and it's off. He is hitting just slightly off center of the center of the drum. So, specifically, if you were to look at, like, the drums that have the gray dot in the center, he would be striking right on about an inch on each side of that dot consistently, because that's where the tone of the drum really sits.
Yeah, like this guy. This guy kind of does that kind of often.
And the reason you want to do that is just to get a better overall tone, because you'll get a little bit of ring, and you'll still get the same crack coming off the snare, because if you actually hit it in the dead center, the snare doesn't get to... oh yeah, and Minal cymbals are fucking really great cymbals. The Byzance cymbals.
Dude, like that, just hearing like those Minal cymbals, like I've watched a couple of those videos. Just watching that kind of techniques, like you're saying, like coming back to that, you were talking about the way they hit the cymbal, and I was like, oh, well, I remember watching a video where that guy kind of does that so perfectly.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah.
So why I get into all of that is when you go to hit a electronic drum,
Yeah.
you can't actually whip a rubber pad. So the issue is that they're trigger based. So there's a couple different triggers in them that determine like you can still, well, it's not even that. So there's a couple different points on a cymbal that it recognizes strike points. So you've got an edge, you've got the top, and you've got the bell. So the cymbal can pick up a couple different patterns. And then it can also pick up if you're hitting it lightly or you're striking the shit out of it. It can pick up the velocity of it. But the issue that a lot of people have is the bounce of it. So a cymbal clears all the way out of your way. But when you hit that rubber pad, it's actually bouncing you off of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
So,
what it does.
so you don't necessarily struggle with it when it comes to the pads for like the toms and the snare. The snare feels really loose. It feels like a really deep tuned, like a very loose tuned snare. Like you're thinking like, I'm trying to think of if I can think of somebody who uses a really deep snare. You hear it a lot in country, where they're pretty low-tuned snares. And I mean, they got a deep to it. But it's not the, like, R&B snare where it's got a wallet sitting on it. The real super secret sauce is to get that. I'm trying to think of there's a John Mayer song that's got that signature sound to it. And the secret to it is actually take a used drum head, cut the top of it off, cut the ring off, basically, and set it on top of that head, and you get that perfect sound every time. Every time.
So like a double?
Yeah, you basically doubled it. So what it is that top head is going to kill everything going into that actual drum head. And it creates that deep sound to it.
For the snare.
Yeah, for the snare. But the issue that I have is... Yeah, there's a John Mayer. I think it's Vultures is one of them that has that deep snare sound on it. I had to go listen to it. And it's actually a 13-inch... I think it's I know it's Steve Jordan's 13-inch snare. I have one, and it's fucking... The wood hoops on that thing is amazing. But the issue that I have with the electronic drum set is you don't quite have the tension that the heads have, so you end up playing it slightly different. The double bass ends up being kind of a cheat because it can bounce easier. The hi-hat is probably the worst part of the drum kit because you can't get all the subtle cymbal shit because it's literally open, closed, or in the sizzle range where it's like slightly open. It has like, it's got 3 tones to it, and you can't get the real, like, the good, like, cymbal, the true, like, when it goes to shut, because you're actually tightening the cymbal as it comes down on it. So there's certain sounds you can't get off of that. Like, it'll do a closed sound, but there is a distinct, like, tightening trick that they'll use a lot, like on transitions, where they'll just tighten it up just enough. But most people are just playing it on tight 8s or tight quarters. It's for day-to-day, like general, like rocking out to like 80s rock metal shit. It's fine all day long.
Never. Yeah, I was about to say in general terms, like most newer rock or metal doesn't even almost use the hi-hats.
Really?
Yeah. You should look. They really almost don't ever use the hi-hat. And if they do, it's gonna be through like some technical jazz section of it.
Give me an example of give me a section of somebody like give me a more modern song that you're thinking of.
Any of All That Remains.
Oh no, he uses the hi-hat all the damn time.
Does he?
Yeah. Now he also lives more on the. He'll use the China a good bit too, but
yeah.
no, he definitely.
But traditionally they're using snare and some kind of pad, not necessarily like the one where it's like the one that you use with the foot thing. One that you're talking about, the one where they got the two together and
yeah.
Yeah, that's the one you're talking about where you have to hit it. In order for it to sound right, it has to not be on an electronic because that one would be like almost impossible to make it good.
So a good example is Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He plays with real cymbals but electronic, like Tom's Kicks snares. Dragon Force does the same thing. Cymbals are a lot harder to fake. Actually, Joey Jordison did not play with the real toms. They were up, but they weren't. His drum sounds were triggered through drum triggers. His whole kit was triggered. He played on a real drum kit, but all the Joey Slipknot stuff was just drum triggers.
Now, some of the Japanese bands that I find me listening to that are metal related, they definitely use the hi-hats.
Oh yeah.
But they use it in a different kind of way. It's kind of nice. I'll send you some random one. This one that is from Japan, it's like big as fuck. It shot.
So one day we got really bored and we tried this. We took my 2 thin 18-inch crash cymbals and made an 18-inch hi-hat out of them. It was a wild time. Also, I mean, this is something that you can't do with MIDI, and this is the only reason why real drums will always be superior, is tone matching and playing around with stuff. We created several hi-hat sounds that sounded awesome, and there is no way you could replicate them without doing the weird shit we did. So I own like 8 different sets of hi-hats from all sorts of brands, weights, and stuff. And we would use, we started mixing and matching the tone that we wanted based on the song. So sometimes we would use a heavy bottom and a light top. Sometimes we'd use a heavy top and a light bottom. Sometimes we'd use a bright and a dark cymbal together on them. Sometimes we used 2 different brights together. Sometimes we used the fluted or masterwork, if you were looking at Zildjian, where they had the flutes in them. Just to create different sounds. And I mean, it was, we created some really unique hi-hats.
Yeah,
and each one had,
cool
each one had a unique chick sound to them.
Dude, why do I have no... What? I had fucking 8 hours on my loot time. How? Where did it go? Why did it go? Who and why and what happened?
Everything. Aliens.
The fuck happened, goddammit, BDO? What'd you break?
Everything.
Who fucking broke what? Who touched the button? I got it now. I got it now. Sorry, continue. I just now like got on my character and realized I didn't have any loot here. I didn't have any loot tonight.
And then a lot of the things we ended up doing were, we ended up using really thin, really dark cymbals. Ended up becoming like one of our signatures that we used, just because they were, they fucking sound great under everything.
They do. They really do.
Now, certain metal songs, we obviously needed the signature, like, really bright, heavy, those really heavy ride cymbals to get that hard ping to come off the ride bell. Because we didn't use the Zell bell like August Burns Red. So a lot of his stuff, you'll hear him use the Zell bell.
Or a cowbell, yeah.
No, it's called a Zell bell. It's the bell of a ride cymbal. And they turn it upside down. It's a hard, metallic ping!
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
And
I know what you're talking about. I just didn't realize what the fuck that was.
yeah, they call it a Zell bell in the Zildjian line. And it's the same dome bell that they put on like the custom Ks. It's a very thick metallic ping when you hit it. So we didn't use the Zell bell, so we just used, I just mount a 20-inch ride cymbal, and he'd just go in and he'd grab the bell from it. And so occasionally you'd see us with 2 rides on the drum kit. So you'd have the one for the bell, and then you'd have the one for, the actual, like, ride that you would use, you know, where you're actually going to use the cymbal. It was a little bit more mellow and not so in your face. And then just because we were doing at the time, he was one of the guys, they were working on an album that was like a Avenged Sevenfold. So I went out and bought a second ride to match that. I got one as close as I could get it, so he could do the dual ride shit that the Rev would do on his shit. And fucking mounted it up, and it was pretty cool looking. I mean, at one point, I think
Yeah,
that drum set
folks
in
got
total
the-
shit was like, we had like 30 grand worth of shit around this drum set.
Nah, dude.
Like, it was rough.
I know that music stuff is so expensive, though. That's the thing. Like, that's what I was getting back to. Was the only reason why I didn't was because I was going to buy a guitar, and they just happened to have a black Gibson Les Paul with gold.
I
four
got
gold, switches and
Yep,
gold.
it's called the Black Beauty.
pickup. I was gonna buy it because it was like $600.
Nope, that's definitely not it. It's not by Gibson.
No, I mean that one. That's what the price was, and I was like, for either that it was like $900, and the other one I was looking at was that.
No
600.
Gibson, no Gibson is 900 or 600 bucks in a Black Beauty.
Well, it had to been that. I would never have wanted to buy it if it wasn't.
You would have been looking at an Epiphone at that point.
No, that was no Epiphone. That was Les Paul.
No, well, Epiphone is the Japanese company of the American company. Epiphone makes the identical guitar, but it's made in Japan.
Well, I wish I knew which one was on the wall. All I know is that it looked like a damn Les Paul.
Yes,
And then it was like 6 or 7. It was some. It was under $1,000.
Yes, it had to have been the Epiphone.
And it
Because
had
the Gibson
four-
Les Paul
that's
Black
why-
Beauty
that's why I said-
is, at least when my parents bought mine for my 21st birthday, I know that guitar
Oh,
was
this
$4
a
grand.
newer-
I know
wasn't
this
an
thing
old-
was.
This wasn't an old Les Paul.
Well, this
This
wasn't
was
old
like
either.
a brand
Yeah.
newer one.
This was brand new on the wall. I happen to know because I had seen it 2 weeks prior in Guitar Center. I was looking up at it, hanging up on the wall, and that was the one thing I'd always said from the age of 12. I always wanted a Gibson Les Paul. I wanted a Gibson Les Paul Black
this
Beauty.
Les Paul's a nice-
And so my 21st birthday, it was at the very end of the night. I was about ready to go to bed, and they were like, "Hey, we got one more thing for you." I'm like, "What?" And Dad comes walking down the stairs with a guitar case, sets it in my lap, and I look down, and it's I see the custom shop logo on it. I'm like, "No."
Nah.
And I open it up, and there it is. I mean, it's got it. It's right on the other side of the computer. Yeah. Gibson
This
Les.
was 2022 when I went to the Guitar Center, and it was like a 2020 guitar
Yes.
or 2021
So
guitar.
I can tell you
It's a
this
brand
for
new
I can tell you this for a fact. Any new Les
It
Paul,
wasn't expensive.
any new Les Paul under $1,000 is not made by Gibson. It's made by Epiphone. Any Les Paul.
Right, I'm aware.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's the Mexican-made one or the early American-made ones. No, that's not what I was getting at. Because those are absolutely expensive. No, I know that. I've always wanted one of those. I've always wanted a Gibson Les Paul. My cousin bought a '68 Gibson Sunburst. It was like he spent like $2,400, and it was at Sweetwater in Florida. By can't remember his town right now. Panama City.
Sweetwater has a second location?
It's either Panama City or the other way, near the base. My grandfather, my great grandfather was buried there. It's
Okay.
one of those two locations. It's somewhere down there. It's somewhere by that damn.
Are you sure it wasn't Sam Ash? Because I'm pretty sure Fort Wayne,
Well,
Indiana
there's
is the
one
only
in-
place that Sweetwater has a physical
not
store.
Indiana, it's Florida.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I believe
what I was talking
Fort
about.
Wayne is, I think, the only physical store of Sweetwater.
There is one in Fort Wayne, yeah.
Because that's the one I
That's
went
the
to.
only one near me.
I
But I went to. Sorry.
Because I came there to go see Chris Lord Algae do a seminar. And I walked around with my sales agent for fucking 4 or 5 hours getting the two.
One is pretty big too, isn't it?
Yeah, so we went and we were hanging out in the studio for a while. He showed us the entire store, the offices, everything. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a pretty crazy experience to see.
I've been wanting to go to that one. I've never been to that one myself. My
It's
dad
cool.
said that he was driving by it when he was going to the big one.
It is
factories down there.
It is one of the most advanced music stores in the world because they do have the full three different recording studios in it. And that Studio A room is fucking legit. I have to give them props on that. That's a very well designed room. Is it the best sounding room I've been in? Absolutely not. Is it a great sounding room? Absolutely. And for the space that they had to allocate for it, it can do quite a lot in that room. That's their flagship where they get to showcase a lot of their A tier gear, you know, to really show what their services drop. Where the hell's the mobs?
Dude, it's fucking up. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, it's definitely doing it again, all of a sudden.
No.
Okay, my pets just picked up loot.
Yeah, I can't be doing this here. Tenebrum is gonna fucking kill me.
Yep, we're going to just walk away, and we're gonna change.
I'm going to log off. I'm not gonna deal with this.
When you're on
Nope.
standby. Please try again in a moment.
Yep, I'm a killer. I'm not gonna deal with that. Not
Yep,
gonna deal with this.
I'm going in right now to kill Black Desert.
Yep, we're just gonna end that.
End task.
Okay, bye. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
The fuck?
Give
Looks like we're getting more
me.
conversation.
Yeah. Let's see here. Give me about 5 to 10 minutes on stream, and I'll probably boot up Grand Theft Auto. I'll take a quick break here. I'll shut it off, and I'm gonna boot it up under all the GTA shit, and I'm going to try to process actually here in a minute in Black Desert. And tonight we'll go finish. If the servers get unfucked, we'll go finish the grind hour that I'm sitting on buffs, and then we'll go gather or whatever the hell ends up happening. But I'll spend the rest of my stream time on doing some GTA shit. So y'all be patient, and I'll turn it back on here in a few minutes.